It's another Human First AI marketing podcast brought to you by Avenue 9. You can find us at avenue9.com. I'm your host, Mike Montague. My guest this week is Dilip Dubey, and he's with Sutra.AI. He also does a whole lot of other AI stuff. You can find more information at Dilip Dubey, it's just Dubey.ai.
That's correct, yes.
But Dilip Dubey on LinkedIn and stuff as well. I am fascinated by all the stuff you're doing because you have a lot of different kind of use cases for AI, from data to opportunities to project management to operations to all sorts of analytics in there. So I guess my opening question for you is about AI for building businesses. How is this a human first pursuit, and how do you think it's helping people build businesses versus replacing people in businesses?
A great question, Mike, and happy to be here. Thanks for having me. From a human perspective, I would say, at least if you are a business builder or a business leader or business executives, AI is empowering you to do the things which you could not do by yourself before. You needed a lot of assistance from your technology partners, from your IT teams and your vendors to do, which is no longer required in an AI world. You can actually just converse with AI, call it prompt, call it questions, and get to the business results you want. And in doing so, literally making business leaders more efficient, effective in doing what they want to do. And I know it's a different way of looking at AI, but truly making the business side of the human first and not being constrained by just the technology, right? Technology is that easy to use.
Yeah, that's why I love talking about it, and why I founded Avenue 9 was I think it really does that for sales and marketing as well. Like, it kind of democratizes the opportunity that if you want to make something, you can make it pretty cheap and easily now. So then the question becomes, like, who can make the coolest stuff? Who can get it out there? Who can create value for other people and stuff so that they can have a business from it? But I love that as the opening sentiment, that now more than ever, if you want to make something, go make it. There's nothing stopping you from doing it, right?
Certainly. And, to add to that, Mike, great AI companies have already built these foundational technologies for all of us to use as business leaders. And having exposure as a patent owner in AI, as well as business leader, scaled, exited business, I invest in companies, having kind of almost a 360-degree view, especially when it comes to marketing and sales. What AI is also enabling is you can have life cycle or closed loop information on customers and engagements, which is multiple systems, and you can do that in real time, which was not really possible, and interpret them well. Second thing it is enabling is what I call precision marketing, which is very common, that you can, of course, not only target a person, but you can target a person in that specific mood, zone, timeline, in their life cycles or in their day, to be more effective with your marketing and sales strategies. And last thing, which is kind of not talked about a lot, AI is also enabling you to have world data on your fingertips. So it's not only life cycle data of your own systems, it's not only being able to precisely target your customers, you have data from what is happening in other companies to the extent it is public, and the knowledge that they have accumulated, synthesized in an LLM. So world data with a LLM, these three trends, I think, just make marketing and sales so much more powerful in today's age than it was even 2 years ago.
I totally agree, and I want to dive into all three of those with you. But since it's the AI marketing podcast here with Human First, why don't we start with the marketing? Because I find that fascinating, that this is a fundamental shift, I think, in the way that we communicate with people, and everybody's saying that. I mean, AI changes everything, right? But for marketers, we've gone from broadcast media, you send one message and put it on television or radio, to persona-based messaging with the internet and social media that we could market to a certain type of consumer, to now it's really individual marketing. You craft one specific message to go to one specific person. And enterprise, that's cool, account-based marketing. But even in B2C now, you can do pitches and ads to one person. That's crazy. And to me, it almost flips it all the way back to where it was before mass media invented. Go back to the 1800s or something. You could only market to one or sell to one person at a time.
Right. And you would say, I know my customer really well. I know their kids and where they're in life cycle, and you can literally do all of those things. And to add to what you're saying, not only target an individual, but what is the right decision-making time for them, and in what context, and in a B2B ABM, what is the right mix of individuals, right? At what level, at what time that they come together to make the decisions, not only just surfacing the right information. It's like, how will it all come together? That is so much more possible today than it ever was.
Yeah, I find that fascinating. Have you seen any cool use cases or examples of that? What does it mean in actual practice for people?
So, talking about businesses, so I'll take like a legacy business. It's a retail chain, struggling, of course, in today's world with all the pressures we have seen in the retail businesses, to just grow the top line and make better margins. Yeah. And this company was thinking, if they can just get 1.5% top line tick, pretty much most of it will fall to their bottom line, and they can make things better. This company is on track in few months to hit 6% uptick. It's a regional retail chain. And I remember talking to the owner when the thought process started, and it was like, really, AI can grow the top line for me? Like, and of course, there's a gap in believability of what AI can do, and then there's a gap in actually being able to implement it. If you cross those two challenges, you can do. And all they are doing is they already had this life cycle data just in different places, all the great retail data that exists in the world. Now they're able to precisely target it to their customers. Their campaigns are better, their customer service is better, and their, of course, product mix is better. So they were able to do all of these things, and we're talking 6 months, right? So these are the kind of opportunities which are real and in front of businesses today.
And I think that kind of takes us to the closed loop reporting and AI that you talked about, because I still feel like, and you can feel free to disagree with me, but the hardest part about AI right now is really getting all of it together. We keep hearing these promises of what AI will be able to do for business, or like, oh, we have this AI for whatever, social media automation, or we have this AI for customer service chatbots, but really getting all of them talking to each other or working in a closed loop, 360 view on your business is really hard still. Yeah. Do you disagree with me, or can give me an update on where we're at with the state of this?
So two ways to look at it from my perspective, right? One is people end up confusing tools with solutions, right? So if you have a tool which can be really cool, I mean, you can use ChatGPT. I mean, younger family members are like now trained and conditioned to start there and then do other things. And we can all feel very good about using them, but they are tools, right? If you want it to work in your business, they have to be turned into solution. And you rightly pointed out that there's this kind of a chasm or a gap on how to do that, right? And then the same gap is also on the other side shown in what you said. Hey, I heard in a boardroom, I was in a meeting, I heard this session, I attended a webinar. Oh my God, I really want to use AI for my business. And to the other side, I heard there's millions of dollars to be saved, done using AI. And like there is this huge gap, or let's call it a chasm, that nobody has figured out what is the right bridge. And when I founded Sutra, I had probably spent time with 300-400 mid-market executives as a keynote speaker, as a coach, mentor, investor, everyone faces this challenge. Hey, what should I do? Should I do it or not? What if I go left and go out of business? What if I go right and become a billionaire? How does it all work? And that chasm still exists today. But the good news is the answers are there. The platforms are there. There are solutions in the market today. Of course, Sutra.AI was founded on that principle where you don't need to know any AI and turn the power of AI and deliver value. So I think those two perspectives, again, short way of saying I 100% align. That is a challenge in the market.
Great. So I want to ask you more about how you're weaving these things together. And because I agree with you, I saw one the other day, some social media influencer posted that like, oh, you can do vibe marketing now, vibe coding, and vibe is the word for AI now, where you just come up with the idea and then you let AI kind of do everything else. And he put in his list of tools this Manus AI agent that just came out in China like 2 weeks ago. And it's waitlisted, so you can't even sign up for it. And he's like, everybody should be doing this for their business now. And you go, well, not really. You can't do it. And it just came out 2 weeks ago, and nobody's figured out how to leverage it yet. And 3, we don't know how safe that data is, or all these open source tools and all these tools that are being released. I think there's something like 50,000 of them now in AI tools, and it grows every single day. To me, that becomes overwhelming because, that could be one person in their basement. And if it's a great, safe tool, awesome. Who cares?
Right.
I think we're going to see a one person billionaire at some point.
Right.
But it could also be nefarious actors or one person in their basement that doesn't have any money. Their server crashes and now your business is at risk. So can you help us, figure this out and how we weave these tools together or make better choices about where we start with all this?
So firstly, you are very right. I'll give you examples where people are uploading their financial statements into open version of ChatGPT. I won't name, but like there's a major league team in sports, and I was talking to their leader. Amazing. They're really trying to be on the cutting edge using AI for their team. And they initially started putting all the analytics data, video as they see it right on an open tool, and quickly realized basically the whole world is going to know everything about the player that they know, even though they were experimenting, and quickly shut it down. So being in a private environment and being secure is critical, especially if you're using your data, which is really the new gold, right? Vibe marketing or vibe coding, it's great, but it does not apply to everyone, right? If you want to innovate and you want to play with the tool and that's the mindset you have, great. You may please go try new things. But I go on speaking engagements, Mike, and if I go to a university, I was just at one in Eastern Michigan University, and I asked, how many of you actually use ChatGPT regularly? Like 95% of the people raise hands. There may be 4 or 5 people who are parents there who are like, I don't know what this is. I go to business leaders, owners, executives, and out of 100 executives, maybe 10 would raise their hand. So to say vibe marketing or vibe coding is something that could be easily adopted or usable on one side, I think we can't expect that to be widespread. And second thing is, experimentation is great. But turning that, again, idea or tool into a solution, that takes time. That to say you go find great marketing tools that are already available, mature, and there are many of them, and just learn on them, I think is, to me, much more safer bet, especially if they cater to your data and your environment.
So then my last question for you was that third bucket that you outlined, which is sort of like the value analytics and how AI is really using that data creatively. I do think this is where most businesses can make a big leap, because we've been collecting data for a while and we've just not been using it. Or a lot of these systems, we had the Google Analytics code on our website for decades, but nobody really paid attention to it unless you're in e-commerce. Can you tell us a little bit more about how this is coming together and what the real value of it is?
No, certainly, Mike. So I'll take data first, which is kind of a passion of mine, is like what has happened to data in an AI world, right? In the past world, your data, to get it all together, to make it work, to make it AI ready, took forever. I mean, 6 months, sometimes 2 years, ton of money invested to try to get data ready for analytics or any other project you wanted. In an AI world that is compressed, AI is one of the most fun use cases of AI is to make data AI ready using it.
Mm.
And it's that compression is allowing mid-market companies to suddenly kind of harness their new gold or new fuel in data and make it ready for using in AI projects or use cases. You talked about value analytics. I am amazed when I talk to leaders how well, and I'm on the fence. You can call me an AI person or a business person. I'm on the fence there. Like how AI world has convinced the business world that they should not look for an ROI when it's talking about AI projects, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, no, it's very complex and it learns and it has all these, which it does. But like somehow business leaders say, yeah, I don't know how to get an ROI. And I was like, which business should invest in things without having clear ROI discussion? Otherwise, it's just a hobby project, right? You're experimenting, doing hobbies, great, but you can't really put business at risk or business dollars at risk for hobby projects. And one thing, of course, that I'm a big believer in, and I know Sutra.AI has unique proprietary technology, is that doesn't matter what project you touch, it creates the AI ROI for it in real time.
Mm.
Like, are you actually getting some value out of this or not? And being able to see that in real time just changes the perspective for business owners. On one side, they become believer very quickly, right? If your CFO is signing up on the ROI of AI project, life is very simple to do more. But on the other side, if it's a hobby project, it's going to take long, it has some other strategic value, that is also pretty obvious. One key differentiator is you cannot use the traditional ROI tools for AI ROI, right?
Well, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask you, is how you're actually defining this, because I think AI is also changing the game for me. I'm having really hard time making longer term decisions in my business, but also for my clients and stuff. I think the 3 to 5 year plan is really hard, but anything past that is almost like there's a horizon of AGI coming where we just can't see past it. It's a what do they call that in the black hole? The event horizon. There's this event horizon of AI that, like, once that happens, like the whole game changes again. So I'm wondering how you calculate AI ROI, and like what people should be thinking about or how they should make decisions. Because I also love what you're saying about these small tests are great. Do the small tests. They're low cost. There's no risk. Do those. Don't make big bets on building your own AI and stuff. I mean, there are people like the United States government putting $500 billion bets on AI. You don't want to do that and put your company at risk. And so I think the muddy area, to wrap up this really long question, is what is a mid-market? What is a small to medium-sized business do where they don't really want to have a hobby project, and they also can't afford to make a huge mistake?
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, if you don't pay attention to the ROI or AI ROI, you could spend ton of money and go nowhere, right? And sometimes you may be convinced you want to build a foundational model as a mid-market business. If somebody's trying to tell you to build foundational technologies, please say thank you and move away from that advisor.
Back away slowly.
Yeah, so that's going to be utility. It's going to be provided by many great companies which are out there: Anthropic, OpenAI, of course, Google. We just need to ride these elephants, right? And build great applications and solutions and projects for your business, and connect them to dollar savings, growth, innovation, very specific outcomes. So that's definitely one. And there's no way a mid-market business, in my opinion, can keep up with all this crazy innovation changes that are happening. So please make sure that you do not follow the traditional management practice of, oh, I will understand the whole market and then make a decision. People who are in AI cannot do that. So if you're not in AI world, that's going to be very, very challenging.
Yeah.
Other thing to qualify that is that please do not fight the talent battle in AI if you're a mid-market company. If you think you can hire the best AI talent and that will give you the best AI solution, which is how people used to think before, and that's how you will win, well, firstly, you can't afford that talent. As soon as you train the talent, OpenAI pay you $300,000 per year and take that talent. You are just may not be as crazily sexy and cool for an AI talent to hang out. So the idea is train your people to use AI and not become AI people, right? And that's the way to look at it. And then to your question from a mid-market perspective, get control of your data, right? It is very easy now. Whoever is telling you it's difficult, they are 3 years too late to the party. Second thing, pick 1 or 2 use cases or projects with clear ROI. And you ask what is different. An AI ROI, AI learns over time. So you can't have the ROI on a single event day. You have to think of ROI over time. AI ROI may not be just incremental. It could be step change, which basically means you could be doubling your revenue of a certain business line because you have a whole new offering you can create in this innovation, which you may have not thought of before, and AI allows you to do that. So those are the components that you have to really plan for when you look at ROI in an AI world. And of course, ignore this idea like, hey, here's an Excel file. I put all my investment and then I have an IRR, or I look at break-even time. And those ideas don't fully work. Of course, I do have like an AI ROI calculator that I freely share on Dubey.ai that people can go and request. So at least gives you a baseline on how to think about it.
Very cool. I mean, I think the last 2 minutes of your answer there is some of the best advice that I've heard on AI on the internet there. So go to Dubey.ai and learn more about Dilip and connect with him on LinkedIn as well. I would just add one more piece of advice that I heard, which is great, is that, like you said, no one person can know everything about this now. There's 50,000 tools. It's changing every week. New models are released, new capabilities, different investments and systems and applications on everything, that I think you need like an AI board of directors. You need to talk to me at avenue9.com about your marketing. You need to talk to Dilip about your data, and you're going to need like 5 or 6 other people on your AI board of directors just to kind of get a scope of things. And I agree with you. Hiring that team is probably not smart, and putting all your eggs in one basket is not smart either. So really great stuff. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no, well said, Mike. I think you do need that board of advisors, or for sure reduce the dimensionality of who and what you look to advise for.
And then my last question before I get you go is your predictions on the future and where you see this going. So we'll start with the short term. In the next 3 to 5 years, how do you see marketing changing with AI?
I think 2 areas which are very intriguing to me. One is this whole agentic thinking that is coming into play. And we talk about from a marketer's perspective what it's going to do. which is fantastic, right? You can have agents cater to individuals. You have agents to their task. Certainly, humans can do much higher level thinking and planning and strategy. But there is also the component that all your consumers are going to have their own agents, right? So you may not be selling to that person. That person may also be very smart about what is coming in and let their agents decide what they want to consume. This is new thinking. Not many people are focused on it today. That is coming, especially if the regulations and if the market moves where the consumer data is owned by the consumer. Well, that would
So.
be
A lot of people are
difficult.
working on that. I hope so. That
Yes.
would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could, on one side, balance the things where consumer get paid for their own data, possibly. Other side, people who do it the right way can benefit because they are engaging with them in a more structured way. But also, there will be very little room for noise left because AI on both sides can decipher that. And it'll be really fun where you
Yeah.
have to sell to an AI agent and not sell to a human. So on marketing, I see that happening in next 3 to 5 years.
That's really cool. Now, if we push out like 30 years or within our lifetime, how do you think humanity shakes out in a world with AI? Do you have a favorite sci-fi movie that you hope we would end up in, or one that you would think is most accurate for where we'll actually end up?
I mean, come to movies. Of course, I love sci-fi movies, but where 30 years is too far, right? I mean, I do like the concept of the greed and the concept of money may be eliminated with AI because we would have eliminated so much need for labor and software in general that all of us can live a life in a different dimension. But you cannot downplay human ambition, human greed. So who knows where that goes? But one way to look at it, Mike, is like we can barely predict what is going to happen in like next 3 to 6 months. Things you think are going to change the world don't happen, take much longer. Self-driving cars, agents, great value, they will happen, may take a little bit longer than we want. On the other side, you have DeepSeek show up and just innovate on top of a foundational model and make it 50 times cheaper, right? So with similar results, not saying again, jury's out, let's see how they really perform over time. But those kind of innovations are possible that we are not looking for. So in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I think crazy things will be possible. I mean, you can talk to your pets using AI. This is actually happening now, not 30 years from now. Like people are taking
Tell
10
us
million.
about that.
Yeah. So people are taking 10 million records of a individual species of a dog or a cat, right? The video, their sounds, barking, their expressions, their movements, and seeing as they are in their environment, how they react to it. And many pet owners will tell you they kind of know how their pet is feeling. They don't need AI to tell them this. But being able to converse with your pet without Elon Musk Neuralink, just because AI will be able to interpret what they are saying very, very closely. It may not be in like a literal English language, but you could literally prompt your pet and the pet can prompt you. And as a past pet owner, I don't know if I really want to know what my dog is thinking about me. May not be great all the time.
The dogs are probably great. It's the cats you got to worry about what they're thinking. They're
Yeah,
thinking you're still lunch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But those kind of
Um,
things are happening now, and we should be able to see more of that.
yeah, I do think that's fascinating. The stuff it's doing with translating languages and stuff where we have a lot of data is fascinating. Whales have an amazing language.
Yes,
Dolphins, respond well to human communication and stuff.
certainly.
There could be some crazy things. It'll be fun to see where AI becomes conscious and where we define consciousness in maybe other species besides our own once we can finally communicate with them. That's crazy stuff. All right, we better take the tinfoil hat off, set that to the side, and wrap up here. So, Dilip, tell us about Sutra.AI, how we can help you and how you can help us.
Well, Sutra.AI was founded when I traveled the world and talked to like hundreds and hundreds of executives about this bridge that they can't cross. Excited about it, they have a desire, they see the results, but they can't cross because they don't have AI teams, AI knowledge. And it was built with that in mind, where any business user can go in, think of an idea, or allow AI to think of an idea for them, and then execute that without ever having to touch coding, modeling, any of those crazy aspects of AI. And that business is assisting like 50 plus customers already, and I believe is probably the most unique proprietary platform for mid-market available to get, just from data to value, right? And do so without hiring a single AI talent on your team. And just excited about what team is doing there, the success they're having. And I'll give you examples here and I say this to all mid-market customers, right? If you're not thinking of doubling your EBITDA in next 24 months with the AI thinking, you're leaving money on the table. And many of them will say, that's great, ambitious thinking. It sounds a little out there, but I'm not saying about what is possible. I have friends and customers of Sutra who are already done that in last 24 months, right? And technology is better today. So if you are not thinking in those kind of big numbers and step changes, you are definitely leaving money on the table, and Sutra.AI enables that.
Awesome. And don't forget to go to Dubey.ai to book Dilip as a speaker, learn more, connect with him on LinkedIn, and continue this conversation. As for me, I founded Avenue 9 to help other people do AI marketing in the right way, not to create autonomous Terminator robots to go out and spam everybody you can scrape off the internet, but how do you create these one-to-one human connections and tell better stories with the help of generative AI than you've ever been able to do before. So if you want to engage an audience like a membership group, a franchise community, your clients, channel sales, stuff like that, reach out to me, avenue9.com. And until next time, keep going. Have fun with it, everybody. See ya.